Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to District 17 Conference Marawa 2025 Inspired. I'm your host for this episode, Keonie Upton, where my mission is to empower growth through real conversations. I'll be sitting down with some of the best public speakers in Perth, Western Australia, and I'm joined by the 2022 World Championship speaker. I'll be sitting down interviewing them individually on what characteristics make an amazing speech.
Welcome to District 17 Annual Conference 2025. My name is Diana Go, and together with Keonie Upton, we're bringing the best in public speaking to you. At Toastmasters, we train people on communication and leadership skills. Welcome, and let's get onto it.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I want to know, what's been the key motive and driver for your endeavours and ventures into keynote speaking and your business?
I think it's such a pleasure to be able to make a change when you have 1,000 people in front of you rather than just one individual, right? And I think it's been a big driver for me to leave people with that message that they can take out of the room. And one of the things that I think is really important is that everybody has to take something out of the room that they can go and implement and change immediately. Otherwise, it was just an entertaining speaker, which is not really what I do.
So with that concept in mind, what's been the defining moment in your life which has pivoted on the journey you are on now?
Wow, that's a great question. I think I had a strong sense of justice from a young age. As a child, when you grow up, you don't realise all the isms in the world, racism and sexism and ableism. And I grew up in South Africa and had a black lady who used to work in our house, like most other people that I knew. But unlike everyone else, her son Michael lived with us. And I remember a friend coming home from school where Michael and I was having lunch for a play date. And she was mortified and left because it was apartheid days in South Africa, and to her it was strange sitting at the same table than a black person. And It was the first time that I became aware of it, these isms. And I think from that day onwards, I really wanted to make a difference. And I was lucky to have a very colourful life as a game ranger at some stage, working with animals. And during my free time as a tour guide, I went in and stayed with lots of different African communities, a Maasai warrior and a Zulu king. And I got to learn a lot from these people, but also wanted to take it back into a world where corporates hang out, and let's say you want a two-week funeral time off, and I just needed 2 hours for my funeral. How do we balance that fairly in the workplace? And I think that has really led to me wanting to spread that message. So it's a bit of a Miss World answer, but making the world a better place, right?
Yeah, I love that.
And I think if you can speak, anybody who can speak and strongly communicate their message can influence other people. And I think that's ultimately what it's been about for me.
Why is that important to you?
It's again making the world a better place, right? If we can make those little changes. I did my PhD in cultural intelligence specifically, and I truly believe that we can create world peace with cultural intelligence. If people can just be a bit more respectful to one another, then it would make an enormous change.
Yeah, I feel that. That's amazing. With your public speaking journey and Toastmasters being in your life, what is one of the most valuable skills you've learnt throughout your public speaking journey, which you could tell your younger self?
Oh, that's a great question again. Toastmasters has been a fantastic foundation to teach me so many little things about speaking, from the and ah counters that they do to the stick to your 7 minutes or we drag you off stage kind of thing. But I think when you speak a lot in front of big audiences and you move on from those basic things, it's really about connection and practice. Is not, people always go, I've got to practice and I'll get better at it. And yes, that's true, but practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect because you have to do it in the right way in the first place. So To me, it's about connection. And I think if I knew that when I started speaking on how to make that connection earlier, I think my journey could have looked very differently from an earlier age as well.
That's an amazing point. So me taking on that advice of connection, how can I apply that to my public speaking and Toastmasters journey today?
It's great. It's a great question again. I think you have to find something that connects to your audience. So we often see people that go and speak in a different company or in a different country. Read the newspaper and see what's happening there. So bring your audience in from the beginning, because that first opening, if you can have a strong opening and a strong close, what happens in the middle is not that important. People will remember you from and they decide if they're going to pay attention in those first couple of seconds. Otherwise, they zone out or they think what they're going to cook for dinner. Exactly. So you really want to get your opening. That opening, if you can practice that and get that right, then that's when you're going to connect with your audience, right?
Get that attention quickly.
That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Your work is truly inspiring, and I look forward to seeing where it takes you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.